Good afternoon and welcome to the Flow Safer Internet Day Teen Summit 2021. My name is Daniel Mullings and I'm passionate about youth, leadership and technology. I serve on the University of the West Indies Guild of Students as the president of the Faculty of Science and Technologies Guild Committee. Alongside me today is David Samon.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Today promises to be a very exciting session as we learn how to use the internet safely. But what are your expectations for the day?
We have so much in store, but I'm mostly excited for the influencer chat, where we'll get to hear real stories from persons that we watch every day. How about you, David?
I think the session I'm most looking forward to today is my panel discussion, where we'll focus on how to use the internet safely. With over 80% of Jamaicans using social media, we know that learning the tips are very important. But before we get into that, we'll have some remarks from Mr. Stephen Price, Chairman of the Flow Foundation. Mr. Price?
Thank you, David and Daniel. I appreciate it. Hello, Jamaica. I want to wish you all a good afternoon, and I really thank you for joining us. I have a special thank you to our youth audience out there who are tuning in. We love to have you. This is a very important week for us here at Flow, Safer Internet Week. A year ago when we hosted our annual Teen Summit, we never imagined the current reality that we'd be in, and just how valuable the lessons that we were teaching last February would have been as part of our day-to-day. Each year we undertake this week of activities just as part of our corporate social responsibility as an internet service provider to ensure that we highlight safe practices in the online space. A few weeks after our event in 2020, the first COVID case came to being and came to light, and Jamaica remained changed in a significant way. I mean, today we're going to hear about 400 cases, which gives us even more responsibility in these times to make sure that we're taking care of you in the online space. Soon, online became our full-time environment for work, play, and school. We saw a rapid, unprecedented growth in traffic. Imagine 40 to 60% growth in broadband capacity, just based on everybody being locked down. Even in Italy, networks almost had to close down completely because of just a fortnight competition, because of the weight on the bandwidth. Netflix, YouTube, many of our streaming providers turned down the quality of their videos right across the globe just to make sure that the internet didn't crash. Internet traffic exploded based on online articles in various technology publications. Skype, WhatsApp, Zoom, Teams, recording record usages, 304%, 609%, 800%. These were the growth rates that we heard about. As a parent and also the country manager of Flow, I'm very happy that we are in a position to play a key role in driving the conversation, as we're doing today, providing key information and support on this very important topic. We have to make a safer and better internet for all. One of our whys is keeping our customers and communities connected. And throughout Liberty Latin America, our parent company, one of our philosophies states, our work has purpose, and what we do makes a difference. Over the years, we've invested in our Internet in Schools program, and annually we spend somewhere in the region of $57 million to keep over 300 schools connected. We've brought more unserved and underserved communities into the online space through our Mission Connect program, where most recently in 2020, we brought over 170 new communities online. We've implemented smart classrooms. We've also facilitated the development of community links, which are internet centers in the nether regions of Jamaica. It is also against this backdrop why we're here today. Having brought connectivity to many, we also want to ensure that with this access, there's a knowledge of how to be safe online and how to use the internet responsibly. It is therefore an opportune time to reflect on Safer Internet Week and the program over the years. This is our third annual Team Summit, which has been attended by hundreds of students across the island. Since the inception of this program in primary schools, we have certified over 500 students as Safer Internet Ambassadors. We're proud to say that they have been key role models in their respective communities and support their role models right across the communities that they touch. We're therefore pleased to continue this initiative. This year's theme, Together for a Safer Internet, speaks to a collective effort that is required to ensure that the online space is safe for everyone. Parents and caregivers play a crucial role in empowering and supporting our children to use technology responsibly and respectfully. Having frequent open discussions with your children. Talk to them. Talk to them about using the technology safely and positively. Be their digital role models. Teachers, educators, and social workers can also help by equipping their pupils and students with digital literacy skills and by developing their critical thinking skills, which will allow them to navigate the online world. They too can set a personal example of positive online behavior for their students. Children and young people can also help to create a better internet by being kind and respectful to those online, by protecting their online reputations and those of others, and by seeking out positive opportunities to create, engage, and share online. Our industry can help by creating and promoting positive content and safe services online, by empowering users to respond to any issues, by providing clear safety advice and quick access to information. The decision makers and the politicians, some of you will hear from, need to establish and nurture a culture in which all of the above can function and thrive. For example, by ensuring that there are opportunities in curriculum for children and young people to learn about online safety, and ensuring that support sources are available. They must also take the lead in governance and legislation to protect the users of the internet. The bottom line is that everyone has a responsibility to make a positive difference online. We can all promote the positive, being kind and respectful to others by seeking out positive opportunities to create and connect. Today we'll hear a lot more from our panelists. Tomorrow our preteens can tune into our Kids Table Talk on our YouTube page and on the Jamaica Observer website. And on Thursday, we discuss online safety in Seniors Forum, also on our YouTube page and the Jamaica Observer website. Even though our events are being held virtually this time around, as we adapt to all the COVID-19 constraints, we hope that Safer Internet Day 2021 will still be vibrant and engaging with thought-provoking conversations as we reflect on our increased use of technology as a result of the pandemic. Participate, and let's make the internet's potential to bring people together. Happy Safer Internet Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those insightful words, Stephen. And thank you for reminding us that our work has purpose and what we do matters. Up next is the Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Education, Youth and Information.
Good morning, everyone. Today is being observed all over the world as Safer Internet Day. By celebrating the positive power of the internet, the theme of Together for a Better Internet encourages everyone to join the global movement, to participate, to make the most of the internet's potential to bring people together. There are many ways that we can do this. Our children and young people can help to create a better internet by being kind and respectful to others online, by protecting their online reputations and those of others, and by seeking out positive opportunities to create, engage, and share online. Parents and caregivers play a crucial role in empowering and supporting children to use technology responsibly, respectfully, critically, and creatively, whether it is by ensuring an open dialogue with their children, educating them to use technology safely and positively, or by acting as digital role models. Our teachers and social workers can help to create a better internet by equipping their students with digital literacy skills and by developing their critical thinking skills, which will allow them to better navigate the online world. They can empower them to create their own content, make positive choices online, and can set a personal example of online behavior for their students. Industry service providers can help to create a better internet by creating and promoting positive content and safe services online, and by empowering users to respond to any issues by providing clear safety advice, a range of easy-to-use safety tools, and quick access to support if things do go wrong. Our decision makers and politicians need to provide the culture in which all of the above can function and thrive. For example, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information has ensured that there are opportunities in the curriculum for children to learn about online safety, and that parents and caregivers, through our agency, the National Parent Support Commission, have access to appropriate information and sources of support, and that our internet service providers are encouraged to self-regulate their content and services. The government has taken a lead role in governance and legislation to ultimately safeguard the protection and well-being of children and young people through effective child protection strategies for the online world. Everyone has a responsibility to make a positive difference online. We can all promote the positive by being kind and respectful to others and seeking out positive opportunities to create and connect. We can all respond to the negative by reporting any inappropriate or illegal content. I invite everyone to join us and Safer Internet Day supporters across the globe to help create a better internet today, February 9, 2021, and indeed throughout the whole year. A better.
Thank you, Minister Williams, for those important words at this time. Each of us have a responsibility to make a positive difference on the internet. Up next is Minister the Honorable Daryl Vaz. He's Minister of Science, Energy, and Technology.
It is indeed a pleasure to join the Flow Foundation as you observe Safer Internet Day. Today, over 100 countries, including Jamaica, will observe this very important day, which calls upon all stakeholders to make the internet a safer and better place for all, especially our youth and children. It is therefore fitting that we all come together for a better internet, one in which our young people can be better protected as they traverse the virtual space. Technology and the internet have an integral role to play in the lives of children and youth. The virtual world presents a plethora of opportunities for our youth to harness the power of technology. The time has come for them to become innovators, entrepreneurs, creators, instead of mere consumers of technology. Recently, I've been using the phrase learn and earn, which speaks to using the internet not just to acquire knowledge, but to also use that knowledge to foster entrepreneurship and innovation, which will result in economic opportunities for our people, especially our youth. For this to happen, we need a solid technological infrastructure. As technology minister, it is my mission and mandate that every nook and cranny of this country is connected to the internet, and that our people, regardless of where they are, can access the internet. We are rolling out our national broadband plan to take internet access to the last mile of the country. The government will be making the largest single investment in the ICT infrastructure in the country, an estimated $237 million for the development of our national broadband. Additionally, we have a plan to place at least 3 Wi-Fi hotspots to each constituency across the island, further increasing access to the internet for all. With the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, software and app development, robotics, and a plethora of other technologies on the rise, our youth must be equipped with the necessary tools and capabilities needed to take their place in the world. In this digital age, technology and connectivity drives every aspect of our lives. Thus, digital skills and digital literacy must become part and parcel of our culture. With the World Economic Forum predicting that 65% of children entering primary school today will be working in jobs that do not yet exist, we are in a race against time to increase our technological capacities at every level. This is needed even more now that our participation in the digital world has increased due to the COVID-19 pandemic. More and more of our children and youth are on the internet for classes and connecting with friends and family. According to the International Telecommunications Union, children account for more than 30% of internet users. By 2022, another 1.2 billion new users will have been added to this figure, with children being the fastest growing online demographic. This increased access exposes children to cyberbullying, child trafficking, online scams, inappropriate content, and most disturbingly, online predators. This is just not limited to children and youth, but every internet user is at risk. No one is immune. While the internet is a vital tool in the modern world, engineering greater innovation, it has also been used to hurt and attack others, especially our children. As a ministry, we are cognizant of this reality, and we have been spreading the cybersecurity message across the length and breadth of this island. Through the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, and prior to COVID-19, we would have sensitized scores of young people about the dangers associated with the internet through various methods. The cybersecurity message is one that we must consistently reinforce in homes, schools, and the wider society. I want to encourage our children and youth to be vigilant internet users. Think before you click on links, even if it was sent to you by a friend. Be mindful of the information, photos, and videos you share online, and do not overshare. Be careful of who you engage online, because predators can pretend to be friends. Be mindful of the website you visit, the apps you download, and even the games you play. And most importantly, report any kind of bullying or online harassment you may experience. As technology advances, navigating both the physical and virtual worlds will become more challenging for our children and youth. I therefore urge all parents and caregivers to keep an open line of communication with their children. Talk to them openly about the positives, but also the dangers that exist online. Monitor their internet use and with whom they interact as best as you can, and encourage them to talk to you or someone else if they are being bullied online. I want our youth to know that you are a significant asset to Jamaica's digital future. As digital natives, you are tech savvy, innovative, creative, and inventive, characteristics which will allow us to realize our vision of creating a technology-enabled society. I want to encourage you to think critically about pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as these areas will be critical in the future. I also want to encourage our women and young girls to pursue these traditionally male-dominated areas because girls and women can do STEM. So as we mark another Safer Internet Day, let us all commit to utilizing the technology to build bridges of hope and opportunity. Let us ensure that no one gets left behind. We can all play our part in creating a better and a safer internet for all. Thank you and God bless you.
Welcome back. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced many persons to use the internet. And today's panel discussion will focus on how we can concentrate on online safety. I'm joined by an esteemed group of people here today. Firstly, to my left, we have Miss Dejanae Roy, a 17-year-old charming young student from the St. Hugh's High School. Then we have Mr. Nicholas Key, a member of the U-Report Council. And lastly, we have Ms. Inspector Powell from the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC, where the Cybercrimes Unit is located. So we're going to start off today with Dejanae. You are a representative of the National Secondary Students Council. But what are some of the challenges that you have heard our young people face due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, definitely a major issue, is the internet and device access. Because a lot of students, as we speak, unfortunately, isn't fortunate enough to actually buy these gadgets to, access online classes. So that's definitely a major, major issue as we speak. Secondly, the attention span with students, with teaching methods, with teachers, it's different physically than online. So maybe how the teachers may teach physically is different from online, and as such, students may feel the need as to say, oh, they're not exactly understanding. Even when teachers are teaching physically, they can look at a student and say, oh, based off their facial expression or even the gestures that they may do, that they don't necessarily understand what the teacher may be saying. As such, it even lessens our mental stability because as such, we're around our peers to speak with them and stuff to encourage us to actually go forward. With online, we're by ourselves in our rooms. So stuff like that actually, don't necessarily motivate us as students.
Well, you raise a very important point about access to online learning. Your report focuses on providing surveys for our young people. So I'd like to bring Nicholas in on this issue. Based on the data that you would have seen, how many young persons have access to our online learning platforms?
Right. So last year around June, we did a poll and we had about 400 and odd students reply. And so of that population, about, say, 56% were only able to really access online resources sometimes, and 11% were able to just not access it at all. And so if we really bring those statistics together, that's definitely a huge margin. That's over 60% of the students generally not being able to gain access to different educational resources, reach out to their teachers, really even just access the internet at all.
Yes, that is a very prominent figure. But Dejane, based on the responses that you'd have seen, how are our young people overcoming these challenges?
Well, definitely, we have to use different innovative and creative ways of actually using the platform wisely. So that now we're actually at home, we have to find ways where we may probably understand differently. So now probably form groups with your friends, study groups that we can go online and probably just meet up, have a casual talk rather than a formal talk with a teacher in a classroom setting. So now that we can probably bring forth our ideas and stuff. You may not understand something that I may understand, and we push off each other's, energy to actually understand what the teacher may be saying.
So we see where young people are supporting each other during this time. But you raise a very important point about responsibility, which is why I'd want to bring in Inspector Powell here. Since the closure of schools last year, March, have you seen any increase in reports of online cases of whether cyberbullying, cyberstalking, etc.?
No, not from where we sit at the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch. What we do recognize is that online activities are activities that feature a lot of young people. However, the issue that we would have been contending with prior to COVID would be unauthorized access to computer data and the breach of Section 9 of the Cybercrimes Act, which is use of computer for malicious communication. So those would have been some of the activities prior to COVID, and those would continue, but not necessarily focusing on children.
But let's break that down some more. What does it mean by malicious communication? Is it not liking a post, or is it a comment? Just break that down for us.
So, generally, there is a discussion about cyberbullying, and those behaviors associated with cyberbullying is captured under the legislation, the Cybercrimes Act of 2015. Now, we do not have a law that specifically says cyberbullying. So whenever there is information that is threatening, obscene, and or menacing in nature based on what is reported to us, then as investigators, those are the areas that we would formulate a file based on the report and have those matters prosecuted via the DPP's office.
Understood. And Nicholas, have you seen any important findings on that particular topic of cybercrime, cyberbullying?
Yes, definitely. Although the data that we do have dates back to about 2019, we haven't come to any conclusive data as yet, since COVID. But a decent, about 34% from my recollection from that study, 34% of participants, they were cyberbullied, and of the general study, 20% of them did not feel inclined to go to school at all because they were cyberbullied.
Dejane, do you find then among the students you interact with, some of them don't want to go back to school?
Well, based off cyberbullying per se, well, it has various factors really, because some persons, they bully because of certain things. So because of that, no, it depends on your confidence as a student to actually look at yourself and say, okay, you're going to make something that somebody said, affect you. So some students may not take it as necessarily, big, but some people, they take it to a point where they even commit suicide as well. But some students, they do go to school just to say, but probably the way how they may react to certain things may be different. So probably where there's a case where they're normally, bloomy, they're happy to be around their friends, they're more on the quiet and reserved side. So those are the factors you have to look out for as well.
Yes, understood. And for Inspector Powell, how do we know is the point of no return where there should be a report made to the cybercrimes unit?
Right. So made specifically to CTOC because our cybercrimes unit actually treats with the technical aspect of it and provide our investigators with investigative support. Now, remember, we prosecute based on the evidence that is presented. And as I indicated before, there is no such offense called cyberbullying. However, aspects of cyberbullying is covered under the particular legislation. So whenever a matter is reported, then the officer, based on his or her training, is able to go through what is presented to him, because based on the legislation, we have to bring about the points to prove the offense, which is anything that is threatening, menacing, and or obscene. Now, we may find ourselves where matters are reported where it is not a criminal matter based on the laws of our country, but it might be something that falls under the defamation legislation. So that is a civil matter which the police does not treat with. However, once the points to prove the offense are borne out, then the matters are investigated and placed before our courts. And we have had successful convictions in that particular area.
Understood. And today's event, we focus on how to use the internet safely, but we'd also like to highlight some of the positives of the internet today. So, Nicholas, have you seen the internet enabling YouReport to carry out its function?
Yes, definitely. I think because, I guess as a consequence of COVID, we have seen an increase in online activity and by extension increase in participation in a lot of our polls. But added to that, like UNICEF and the NSSC have partnered together on a Reimagine Education initiative, to really take a bottoms-up approach to digging into a lot of the problems within the education system to then reformulate it in a more cohesive and wholesome way to then bring forth a lot of solutions to the plate. And so some of these submissions will be made to the Prime Minister and his Education Commission. And aside from that, you reporters, or just generally all students, especially if you're in high school, you now have the ability to participate in the poll. Let me get the poll number right quick. So to participate, all you have to do is just text a WhatsApp number and text poll. You can text, or rather WhatsApp 876-838-4897. And just type the word poll and enter and you can participate.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. But today's day is focusing on the youth. And I'd like to hear from you. How has technology helped you and other young persons operate within online education?
Well, definitely, in light of the virus, basically, we're moving now into a digital revolution now, where it actually proves to us that we don't necessarily have to be face-to-face to interact and be productive. So now it implores us and it makes us want to explore other ways of finding ways to be productive. Also, too, the availability of resources per se. So in classes, when you're in classes physically, you don't necessarily want to interrupt a teacher when she's in the middle of her teaching. So she may be teaching something and you don't understand. Now that you're online, you have the resources there where you can probably Google something to say, I don't understand this. So you just simply Google it and you say, you put this and this together and find ways to say, this is what she's trying to say, to find ways to better understand what the concept is.
Yes, and we see how the internet is able to help with learning online. But the National Secondary Students Council represents students from across Jamaica. How has the NSSC incorporated the online environment to advance students' interests? Or essentially, what is the NSSC doing now using the internet to encourage student participation?
Well, what we do, we partner with, as you said before, We partnered with UNICEF for the Reimagine Education to find out with youths as well. We also do surveys on our platforms as well, with Instagram, NSSC_JA and NSSCJA on Twitter. You know, you guys can look out for it and keep up to date with the stuff that we're posting. We try to find ways to interact with students to get back their feedback on stuff that's happening in online schooling.
Thank you very much. So we heard how to contact your report, we hear how to contact the NSSC. So Inspector Powell, how do we contact CTOC if we want to report any incident?
Okay. Well, our direct number is 967-1389. However, you still have 119, 311, 811, and you can also call 18. With online crimes, they are generally associated with sexual offenses because normally when persons are lured online, especially our females, then there is some aspects of sexual exploitation. So CISOCA is also another agent, another part of the JCF that you can also contact, and that number is 926-4079. So in communicating any report as it relates to a breach of the law, and if you're specifically making reference to breach of the cybercrimes legislation or the Sexual Offences Act, you can always visit any station across the island and make your report. Whilst the stations will contact CTOC by virtue of the fact that our cybercrimes department lies there for technical assistance, it does not prevent any citizen of Jamaica from attending any police station to make a report or to actually call to ask for some advice.
Thank you very much for sharing that information. I think now it's a good time to hear from our audience online. Do we have any questions? All right, so while we wait for any questions, I would just like to open the floor for anyone to respond to this question, which is, what do you think is the most important thing young people should know when using the internet today? Oh, sorry, we have a question? Oh, no questions. All right, so yes, so let's have all the panelists answer. What's the most important thing young people need to know when using the internet today? Let's start off with Nicholas then.
Sure. I think the greatest threat to our internet usage now is that we're in the age of information overload. And there are a few things that we need to be specifically careful about. I guess fake news is probably seen as the more popular mainstream ideology, but behind fake news is a lot of, I guess, malicious activity by bad actors, and also artificial intelligence purported by bad actors as well. And so it is very imperative for us to really think critically about the information that we consume and be mindful about its impact. And we should also do our extreme due diligence into the type of where we get the sources of our information generally, and also how we receive them, and really do a lot of introspection.
Yes. So we hear a very loaded response. So we'll go back to Dejani in terms of the internet. For persons in your age group, how do they use the internet, and what is the application greatest used by young people today?
Well, definitely Instagram. You know, Instagram is famously known. It's used a lot by young people, as well as YouTube too, for entertainment purposes. Definitely.
And has it helped with the online learning, online school? What are we seeing? What have you heard from your peers?
Well, you have YouTube's things online that you can go to, help with the knowledge, give you more knowledge as to what, So if you want to basically type in the topic that you're probably doing in class, you can definitely type it in YouTube. We'll see multiple stuff that, relates back to your topic that you can research.
Yes, so Inspector Paul, we heard Dijonay saying a lot of young people are using the internet, using YouTube. Do you have any tips that they can apply to their lives as they use the internet?
Wow, there are so many. Firstly, we want to say as an organization that the internet is good. It is the use of the internet that we are having severe challenges with. Now, tips of being safe online. Never share your password. Be wary of social media platforms. Be good citizens, be good online citizens. Click with caution, right? It's not everything that you'd want to click and to download. Never leave your devices unattended. Remember, I spoke about the offense of unauthorized access to computer data. Understand privacy policies. So a lot of times we sign up to the different social media platforms, not recognizing that we are giving them access to a number of our information. Back up your data regularly. Keep your internet connection secure. Monitor online activities. As an individual, you need to check out what's happening with your devices on a day-to-day basis. There are so many. They need to know the dangers of the internet. Remember that their identity is important and be aware of strangers. No, that is so important because when I've been in recent times while I was having a discussion with some of my colleagues, being aware of who it is that you're talking to is what a number of our young people are not paying particular attention to. Because remember, we are sitting here and having a nice discussion. I'm actually seeing your face. However, there are persons who will use the internet as a cover. They hide behind the computer and they recruit persons, whether it is for human trafficking, sexual exploitation. When you're looking at fraudulent activities online, they will approach young persons, and what we're seeing where accounts are rented, monies are deposited, and during our investigations, most of the times they indicate that they did not know that it was a crime. So there is the renting of accounts, and this will find young people behind bars. We ought to understand as young people, teenagers that are watching, that once you are age 12 and over, you now become accountable in terms of being arrested for a crime within our country. So there are a number of things that can be done in terms of being safe online.
So I would like to thank you for sharing those important tips. Do we have any questions from our audience here?
Yes, we do have some questions coming in, and we can go to Liana Guthrie. Liana Guthrie has a question for us. Okay, we're not hearing Liana's question, so I'll ask it for her. She was asking, what should young people know when using the internet?
What should young people know when using the internet? Very good question. I'd like Nicholas to answer that question. What should young people know when using the internet?
Yeah, very good question. I think we're in the age of social media, and because of that, it hasn't really clicked to us as to how impactful this type of technology is on our lives. These companies, we call them the FANG companies, so Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, they are all, their main objective is to get us addicted to a lot of these social media sites. And so it's really important for us to take some time and to temper our experience. Turn off the devices every once in a while. Ensure that you're probably not on it for longer than 2 hours at a time, or even honestly 30 minutes at a time, or even less. Take those breaks, take those intentional breaks, because otherwise you'll get stuck in this realm of being thwarted into a lot of advertisements, unknowingly and subtle, that these social media companies and internet companies generally make a profit off of. So you are the product.
So essentially, the internet is important. Just be responsible when using it and take breaks. Very good. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, we do have some more questions coming in from our virtual audience. This one is coming to us from YouTube, from Javon James, and he asks, so when will there be legislation on cyberbullying?
All right, so the question is when there will be legislation on cyberbullying. I'd like to direct that. When will there be legislation, or is there any legislation in the pipeline for cyberbullying?
All right, I did say that whilst there is no called cyberbullying, the Cybercrimes Act of 2015 treats with the issue of cyberbullying. So remember, cyberbullying captures a number of unwanted behaviors, threatening behaviors that are that impacts our children. Now, I know that there is a review of our legislation coming up soon. At this point in time, I don't have the date when the review is going to be out. But I know that based on some dialogue, that is one of the questions that was put forward to the persons conducting such a review. But once a matter is reported to us, we can advise based on our training, both locally and abroad,
yes,
whether or not the particular crime has been committed, and where we need additional clarity, we call upon the Director of Public Prosecution's office to treat
Yes.
them.
So we see where there is a review coming up. This is now where we can get our young people to be advocating. We have Dijane who is here. I would just like to close today's panel discussion with words from our youth advocate who is here today. So do you have any final remarks?
Guys, just be safe online. I know there's a lot of distractions there when you're online school. And other little predators as well. You just have to be careful and go on sites. For example, Get Safe Online. Thank you.
All right, and that's all the time that we have today. I would like to thank our panelists for sharing such informative messages, sharing their perspectives on how to use the internet safely. I'm David Salmon. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we're happy to have you.
We live in a digital environment where information is easily accessed and opportunities are limitless. An age to think big, to innovate and lead. But beware, the digital space has its challenges. Manage your digital self carefully, because the consequences are real.
At least 10 incoming freshmen had their recent acceptance withdrawn after posting extremely offensive images and statements on a private Facebook group.
Stop and think before you broadcast and post messages. Before downloading third-party apps. Because your digital footprint follows you wherever you go. The Broadcasting Commission, your partner for a new day.
Nah, click on your link for my liquor brother pre that slot bro, we no need that. And the next thing them type a song they are listening online, what kind of thing that some big man pose up on them profile and a put chat to a small child. Watch yourself on social media when you a post boxes, no do nothing too wild. What if your liquor brother said a post ya? What if your bro dead in another crime video ya? What if your little sister fi take a one pic and it a put up everywhere like it's a poster? Before me share the post the pic, I ask myself what if I nah comment, I nah go click B. Before me ask what if I nah comment, I nah go click B. Before me ask what if so before you share the post the link, just ask yourself what if yeah. When you're there online, make it a new day at the rhyme. Keep up with the time. Broadcasting Commission I remind you.
Watch yourself online, that's what my crew say. Make it a new day. are reminded by the Broadcasting Commission. We the BCJ. What if it was your friend in the mix? What if it was your sis in the pics? What if you were the terrorist watch list? What if? Suppose that one. What you do? Don't like, don't comment, don't click. Report it, block it, don't make it stick. Don't trust everybody on the internet. Use it to step up your intellect. So online you have to be safe too. Don't believe the rumors or the fake news. Don't go everywhere they try to take you. Protect the kids or they find a way through. What if it was your friend in the mix? What if it was your sis in the pics? What if you were the terrorist watch list? What if? Suppose that go on. What if? Wait up, please.
In the Flow Ambassador training program, I learned that you're not supposed to share personal information such as your name, your phone number, your date of birth, your address, and your license plate number. If you're being bullied on the internet, you should tell a person that you trust. As a Flow Safer Internet Monitor, the tips that I shared with my friends were that many people on the internet ask for your name so you can receive prizes. They may ask, where do you live? Let us meet up, and that's not safe to do. I think it's important to be a safer internet monitor because you're able to help people you know to be safe on the internet so nothing bad happens to them.
So in the Flow Ambassador training program, I learned that you should always stay safe on the internet and do not give out your personal passwords, location, or any of those stuff. So some of the tips that I shared with my family and friends are you should not meet up with someone in person, even if they seem nice on the internet. Try not to meet up with them. And I would like for you to be kind on the internet and make it a better place.
In the Flow Ambassador training program, I learned about cyber safety. Cyber safety means being safe online, what you do. I learned that hackers can view your location and your websites that you've been on. I also learned that they can view your personal information, very personal. They can even spy through your webcam without me even knowing. As a Flow Safer Internet Monitor, I shared with my family and friends that you should not click on everything you see on the web because they could bring viruses to your laptop. You must not share all your valuables with everyone on the internet and things that can leak your personal information.
Welcome back, young people. Now, this is a session that I know you're very, very excited for because we have some very familiar faces up here. This is the Influencers Roundtable. Now, let me introduce the persons that we have. We have, of course, Quiet Perry, digital media influencer, Tanania, digital media influencer, Sing Zima, a content creator, and Devrain Rowe from the university's Guild of Students. All right, so let's go right into the discussion. And I want to start with you, Quiet Perry. Yes, of course, with Quiet Perry. Now, he had a video that you posted some time back, and you were really discussing that, you know, with this space, there's some anxiety that comes with it, and, you know, it's hard to adjust to. I want to know, how do you remain authentic and balance that online self versus the real world self?
Okay, first you have to understand how to operate in the space and also understand the mechanics that come with the space. You understand the perimeters, just how people move, all of that. So you have to be true to yourself in terms of what you portray online in terms of, am I being truthful? Am I being honest? Is this real, right? But in my real life though, I'm more subdued. I'm more laid back, I'm more chill. I like my own time. I like to be by myself sometimes. And I'm not always up. I think people have this perception that, you know, the person you are online, you have to be that person 24/7. So sometimes persons might see me in public and they're like, we are going so far. I'm like, girl, I'm having a bad day, okay? It have nothing to do with you understand? So I think persons need to kind of sort of get acquainted or acclimatized to just the different spectrums of how people can be. Come and I go see you in a life all the time. I say, well, my girl, how you doing? What is keeping? Not all the time. Sometimes you're gonna be like, boy, girl, but I just want to buy a little sausage and go home. I don't want to talk to nobody. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so you within yourself, you have to kind of sort of be honest with yourself. And hold yourself accountable. You know, establish boundaries for yourself. Know that, you know, I can't do this right now, and be okay in not doing this. You know, because the anxiety part, trust me, it's especially mine. I can't speak for anybody else. Mine is very debilitating, so you have to be careful.
Thank you, and thank you for being real and sharing that side. And so, Singzima, you're new on the scene. So I want to know, you're just starting out, your platform is growing. How are you handling this new platform?
Well, I mean, it's kind of different with the attention that you get in online and in person as well, because usually you'd expect to go to the supermarket or you're just chilling, you're buying some food, and then people coming up to you now rather than before where you just feel like you're blending into the crowd. Like, no, you're this person that people look forward to seeing or people hope to see sometimes on the ground road. So it's kind of, sorry, I'm nervous.
Completely fine. That's okay.
But yeah, it's nice sometimes, and then sometimes it's rough because you'll have people who don't like you. As much as people like you, you'll have people that don't like you, and people leave negative comments. So sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it bothers the people around me because they're not used to that attention. So it has its pros and cons, but it's still fun, it's still a good time, so yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that. So, Tanani, I want to go over to you. How do you deal with online trolls? Because just like what Singzima said, not everybody is going to have that positive response to you. Some people are going to say some very hurtful things. How do you deal with that?
All right, so for me, I'm not sure if, because I've been in the space for a very long time, ignoring a troll comes naturally. And sometimes I'll even play with them. So if you tell me I'm head big, me say big bad girl, my head big bad, because I don't take it personally. I don't take what you say and wear it. If it is a bad day, like Rohan said, you'll have bad days, I'll block the person. I'll turn the comments off if I need to. Or I have supporters who really ride for me, so they'll answer the troll. They'll be like, oh no, you can't say this about her, she's not that, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest, the best way to deal with trolls is just ignore them, because they really are looking for your attention. If you don't give them the attention, they don't have any reason to really message you.
All right, so some strong points there, young people. I hope you're listening, and start writing down your questions from now, because we're going to ask you some later. Now I'm going to go over to Devrain Rowe from the Guild of Students. Now you have a very interesting position, right? Because you have to balance leadership with also being a student, also being a regular young person. How do you curate your online space to match all those different faces that you have to be?
Well, in truth and fact, it's difficult sometimes, because at the end of the day, you have to recognize that you are a student, you're a human, but at the end of the day, you're still a student leader. So what I would normally do is ensure that whatever is going out into the eyes of the public, it is shown as professionally as best as possible. But you know that you still have to go to parties, you still have to enjoy yourself, because as I said before, at the end of the day, you are human, right? Especially in this time, students are looking to us for guidance. Students are looking to us for some sort of protection in a sense, because most of our students at the University of the West Indies are online, 70% actually. So they're looking towards our social media pages. So we have to ensure now as student leaders that we're engaging our students as best as we possibly can. Now, I would have seen yourself, Daniel, would have been actively engaging students. So before, if we would have had, say, 1,000 followers on Instagram, we're looking now to gain an additional 1,000 followers so that more students can be engaged and actively participate with us as student leaders.
Some very good points there. And we both sit on the UWI Mona Guild of Students. And so that has been a big push. We have to increase our online presence because that's the only way to communicate now. So I'm going to lead into some of the positives of the online space, right? Because many of you have started to build businesses out of this. So what are some opportunities that the internet offers? And we'll start with you, Quite Ferry.
Okay. Firstly, I think once you move into the space, and if you have a vision for yourself in terms of where you want to go, you have to know how to leverage your brand and your brand identity. You understand? Granted, moving into the space, you're gonna learn a few things, you're gonna adjust to a few things. It's gonna be a new space for you to get, acquainted with. But I think it's important that when you're being approached by brands, that you stand up for what you believe you deserve, correct? Now, for me personally, I've been afforded a lot of opportunities to work with a lot of brands overseas and also locally. I've been very fortunate in that department. So big up management and such, but yeah, I think it's great to kind of sort of maneuver the space because it is important in elevating who you are. It is important to also make, go where the money reside. Yeah, go where the money reside. But yes, social media has done a lot for me because this is indeed my livelihood. I don't work nowhere else. So yeah, that part of it. Colleague.
I sit on you there laughing. Do you have anything you want to add?
In terms of what Rohan was saying too, but outside of that, it's not only the negativity but the positivity for me. So the support I get and just people cheering me on. So right now, anything I'm gonna do, to tell you the truth, the people I'm support it. Because of course, anything I'm gonna touch them, say sell. So the positivity and girl, we love you and we want you to do great. It's that for me. So what keeps me going. So outside of the negative comments, you have so much more positive comments. If you don't feel good in the morning, you wake up and somebody send a little message and say, girl, I just watched your video and you're so relatable and I love you and I want you to do well and God's hand is on you and I feel really good. So for me, it's a support too.
All right, so it's a community. Sing Zima, I want you to speak to the new line that you have. You're wearing the jacket from your line, right?
Yeah.
And I know you have clothing and so on. Tell the people, what have you been able to do as an entrepreneur?
So I've been able to leverage the audience that I've got to develop other sources of income. So for example, my new line of merch, as you can see out now, guys, check it out. But beyond that, at the level that I'm at now, it's easier to communicate to people at certain levels that you may not have had, or it would have been more difficult if you weren't somebody who I am. You get me? So I've been able to, because this is not my end goal, this is just a part of the journey. And so it's given me access to people who I wouldn't normally have had access to. So I appreciate the fact that I'm able to communicate with people who I really want to communicate with to help me get to the end goal and where I want to go.
All right, so what you're speaking to there is a bit of building your network. And so I want to throw this question to Devrain. How have you been able to build your network through some of the online mediums?
Well, it has been pretty easy building networks. Individuals have been reaching out to me, trying to build partnerships surrounding assisting our students within this time, because the reality is there are several challenges that our students are facing, especially with the digital divide. So as a Guild Council, we would have been actively trying to source sponsorships. We would have been engaging our students as to the students who are experiencing the various challenges, right? And seeing how best we can come up with the best solutions to assist our students.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, Tanania, I remember you posted a video and Cranium was just dropping some lyrics left, right, and center. So I have to ask about the online dating scene. How has that been?
Well, so far, trying to date online has really brought out the CSI part of me. So anybody who approach me, if I ask around, so if I find out from somebody, you know that person, you know John Brown, which school did they go, who are his friends, and I usually try to speak to them like through call first, because there are some things you'll pick up on a call that you won't pick up through text. I'll video call if I have to. If we need to meet up, I have to go somewhere public and you cannot pick me up. While I love a gentleman and I want to come and open the door and such, I would rather go on my own. So if you're going somewhere with me in the car that I don't want to go, I have all control over the situation. So say, no, I'm not going to wear here, I'm going to wear, I'm going to get fixed money. So I'm going to call a taxi when I'm ready and I'm going to leave. I'll also go to like a public place, or I'll text a friend and let them know that, listen, I'm here, I'll share my live location on WhatsApp. That helped me so much one time, but yeah, different story. But yeah, just don't go out and drink too much, especially if it's the first time you're meeting this person online. You don't actually know them or what their true intentions are with you. So those are a few tips that I use, right?
Those are some excellent online safety tips, not only for the dating scene, but generally speaking. So thank you so much for sharing some of those. What I want to move into now is a bit of, have any of you ever experienced online stalking? Because your platforms are growing, I'm very curious. Does anybody have any story to share? I see Sing Zima shaking his head.
Because there's a lot of instances where like somebody will message you on one account and make a different account, and then you block all these accounts and they're still making accounts to try and get to you. And it's kind of weird, it's kind of creepy. No, like big man thing, like I have to be real though. If you realize somebody isn't acknowledging you, just leave it alone. Maybe when they're ready, they'll see it. But I check through all of my DMs, but I may not respond to all of them, maybe because it's not relevant to what I'm trying to do right now or whatever. But them need for bill sometimes. Sometimes people really just need for bill and just leave people alone, because we're not just online. We're not online 24/7. We're not going to be active 24/7. So we're not going to respond 24/7. We're human beings as well. We have lives outside of social media, outside of what you see or what we post online. So I think people need to respect that more.
Yeah, manage your expectations of public figures. I think that's what it is. Not because you support somebody means that they have to respond to your message. I personally believe it's a courtesy. You're showing your appreciation, and rightfully so, it's good to say, thank you, XYZ, but manage your expectations in regards to public figures, because they're humans too. They have a life too. They have things to do. Majority of their life is not consumed on social media. And you have to also understand that what they choose to put out there is what they have decided to give to you. So you don't know all of what they're going through every single step of every single day.
Not only that, but not every comment that you think to say, you should say to someone online. Yes, I get it. We're very friendly. We put a lot of stuff out there, but save some of what you think you should say, save that. Because you don't know the person that you're speaking to. You think you know, but you don't always know. Say some of that. So if I'm in a bikini, or say, take time, come down a little bit, nobody feel like you must say the loudest. Take your time and say, you look nice in that bikini. Don't think of don't do that.
But me not think say the color nice, or certain things are also inappropriate. Like don't comment on people's weight on the internet. It's inappropriate.
So basically what's coming across here is that we're all humans. So just like you are going through your day-to-day business on social media, but you're also a person in real life. It's the same for influencers, whether in leadership or starting new business with entrepreneurship or doing their YouTube videos. So there's a whole wide range there. Now I see that we're coming up to the question and answer segment, so I want you guys to get your questions ready. I'm going to ask them one more question, and then we're going over to you. So get your questions ready. The last question that I have before the Q&A is, how do you deal with online addictions? Because to keep posting, to keep putting out content takes work. How do you, separate that? I see Tanalia there, smiling, so I'm going to start with you.
For me personally, I schedule most of what I do. So as everybody knows, we'll go with a schedule. So if it's YouTube, we post a certain time, certain day. If I'm scrolling, I'll scroll for only maybe 30 minutes at a time, or I'll use the weekly report timer on my phone, because iPhones do have that, so they let you know when you've gone over a certain amount, and I'm like, okay, take your time with the screen time, it's too much. But usually I just try to spend as much time in real life as I can. If I do post, I won't wait to see if you're commenting or if you like it. I post it, come off, I'll check back in like 2 hours, see what's happening, but I don't live on the phone, which is why, as Sing said, we don't usually see a lot of your comments immediately, because we're not always online.
All right, thank you for that. And Sing, you have anything you want to add?
I mean, for me personally, like I always have my phone, I'm always on my phone, because I've decided to merge my social life and my real life. I don't know if that makes any sense. So For the videos that I do, it's usually when I'm outside chilling with my friends. So I literally always have my phone when I'm filming or on social media. But I do know when to step back and put down my phone and have an actual conversation. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong is you go to a restaurant and you see everybody on their phone texting, pinging. Like, no, I think that there are times where you should acknowledge that you need to be aware of what's going on around you and acknowledge and appreciate what's happening right now and live now.
All right, live now is a message from Sing Zima. I'm now going to ask if there are any questions from the audience. Feel free to unmute and go ahead.
Yes, we have some questions coming in via the virtual audience. And this question is for Quite Perry. The question is, what can we say to young children who do not know how to cope with the negativity online?
First of all, come off. If you cannot manage it, come off. You understand? I think people believe that they need to force themselves into spaces that everybody is on. You don't have to be on social media to have a life. Your life is not dependent on social media. Social media does not give you validation. You understand? Life exists outside of your phone. But if you are in a field where you have to work through social media, I think it's very important to be very block happy. So my trigger finger always up on my block button. So I'm not in a blank back and forth, I'm not type to my battery dead, I'm just gonna block you and keep it moving. You understand? You have to be very careful of what you digest. You know, the human body, especially with information, we're not meant to consume such large levels of information. So you have to be very careful of what you choose to digest. Negativity, anything, and me block by association. So if you say something bad about me and 50 people like it, you and the 50 people get blocked. Me block by association, me response, block right through. So I am in control of my space and I have the right to curate it how I want to curate it. If you don't fall into the confines of what I'm trying to promote in terms of positivity and upliftment and vibes and good energy, you got to go, period.
You got to go. Next question, please.
Our next question is for Tananya, and the question is, what are the consequences of online dating and the resolution to safe online dating?
All right, so this is very funny, but the consequences to online dating is everybody know your business and everybody feel like them have a say in your business. So you see, if you don't want that, don't share it. As simple as that. Because I'm sure nobody here knows if I'm single or if I'm married. And I'm sure if I reveal to you if I'm either, you'd be shocked. So if you don't want people's opinions on certain things, do not share it. It's as easy as that. Nobody needs to know, as Rohan said, you don't need validation from people online. So if you like the boy, you like the boy. You don't have to post the boy if everybody say, boy, the boy nice, see? Right. For you then decide that you like him. You understand what I'm saying? Live your private life privately.
I think the thing though, like if I could add to that, is in being an influencer, people can be interested in your life.
I get that.
You get me? And people always judge you or the person who you're interacting with online. So like sometimes it gets difficult because I don't know if you guys know, but like I'm doing like a social media thing with Gypsy. So it gets difficult sometimes because people have bad things to say about her and I have to defend her. People who say bad things about me and she has to defend me, whether it be in the comments or the DMs. But because we understand each other and we have respect for each other, like we have like developed an energy where we just block out all the negativity and try to keep it as positive as possible. So that's the bad thing about dating online, but it's also fun because you get to see how people interacting with you guys. Oh, yo, they look so cute together. Oh, they should go to this place, whatever. So.
And also, if I might add, it also tests the strength of your ship, whatever ship it is, friendship, relationship. Once there's outside opinion, if you two are not strong in your mental and what you guys have going on, it might become a challenge when 50 people are telling you, say, leave the boy, don't deal with the boy ugly, the boy I give a bun, rate. So if you cannot come off, don't post nothing, leave it alone.
A lot of what you guys are saying comes back to where does your sense of validation come from? Is it coming from these comments and what people are saying, or is it from you internally? So I love the points being brought across. I'm going to throw to another question.
Yes, we have another question coming through. This one is for Devereen, and the question is, what are your suggestions for dealing with cyberbullies?
My suggestions for dealing with cyberbullies, I'd say don't respond. Not all comments that are made deserves a response, and that is key. It is key to understanding social media on a whole. I've seen many of my friends before in the past, they have commented on issues, and this has led them down the wrong path. And I believe that if you don't respond, then there will not be any repercussions, really.
And sometimes when we respond, it brings more awareness to the issue that's going on.
And sometimes, because I did a video before titled Addressing the Rumors, where I stated the facts to a situation, there was no if or but, because I told you exactly how it went. So if you wanted to then perceive or mix and mince my words, that was up to you. But when you answer, sometimes if you do answer with the facts, there is no further that the bullying can go or that the troll can take it, because you already told your story. You didn't allow them to tell it for you or say what they thought their opinion was or what they've heard. You tell them and you move on.
Important words there. Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Yes, we have a question coming through from our YouTube audience, and it's from Ali TV, and the question is to Tainania. What's the best thing about working online?
Like I said, the best thing for me is the positivity that I get from those people who support me, and also the brand deals, the endorsements, you know, the networking, again, like what Singh said, meeting people who I've never met before and who, if I didn't have the platform, I would have probably never met. So those are some of the things that I really love about working online.
All right, I think we have time for one or two more questions. Are there any more?
Yes, we have some questions in our Zoom portal, and we have Kimora. Kimora, are you ready to ask your question?
Can someone be tempted to troll?
Can someone be tempted to troll
somebody?
Okay, can someone be tempted to troll somebody, Sing Zima?
I mean, yeah, because, some people do it for fun. Some people do it because they want to piss people off. So, if you don't like somebody and you see them posting something online, you might just want to upset them and piss them off, make a fake account, make a comment that would piss them off. Or you might just be making a joke, but they take it seriously, but you don't know. So, yeah, there are cases where someone could be tempted to troll, but, please try your best not to, is my best recommendation.
Yeah, some of y'all need to work on your trauma and heal from your trauma.
That temptation is called jealousy.
And trauma too, because it's like, I don't like you, I'm not interested in anything that you do, but I've made a complete account, I filled it out. A fake name, a fake email address, age, bio, picture, for comment something bad about somebody. I don't understand that. If me not like something, I scroll. I don't follow you. Next. I don't understand. That makes no sense.
Understand. What do you guys think about cancel culture? If anybody, you know?
Some of them deserve to get canceled, but what would Jesus do?
Not a fan of cancel culture.
What would Jesus do?
Not a fan.
All right, we have 20 seconds left, and so I guess I'll wrap up. This has been such an exciting discussion. Thank you all so much for joining me. I think everybody listening has been excited and engaged, and I feel the energy from here. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll now go over to a video from one of our partners, Jamaica Observer.
The Jamaica Observer Study Center Online is giving you more. CAPE Mathematics and Management of Business have been added to our Study Center Online to better prepare you for your final exams. Gain access to over 10 free CSEC and CAPE lessons. Available this and every Tuesday. Visit us at jamaicaobserver.com/study center or contact us at 876-844-2107.
Love and kisses from... Oh, it's on! I'm sorry, guys. I know I've told you I'd share everything with you, but this letter is really, really private. Okay. Now it's safe in my top secret secretive box.
The internet is a great place to do research for school. Share pictures with friends, play video games, or check out the latest trending videos. But it's important to remember that there are billions of people who access the internet, and not everyone has good intentions when doing so. You should think carefully before you share personal information, pictures, or videos on the internet, even if you think it is private. Nothing on the internet is completely private. It's a good rule of thumb not to put up anything that could embarrass you later. If you wouldn't want your grandmother to see it, then don't post it. And don't share private information with people you don't know. Trust your instincts. If someone approaches you online and makes you feel uncomfortable or in danger, stop communication with them immediately. And tell a parent or another trusted adult. It's best not to meet in person someone you've only met online, even if you've been communicating with them for a long time. They may not be who they have told you they are, and it could be dangerous. If you do decide to meet someone from online, it's best to meet them in a public place and to not go alone. Always take a friend along just to be safe, and let someone else know exactly where you are going and who you are going to meet. Bullying someone online, through email, social media, text messaging, or any other website or app is called cyberbullying and is still a form of bullying. It's often better to block, delete, or try to ignore bullying messages than to respond to them. If that doesn't work, getting help from a parent, school counselor, or another trusted adult might be a good idea. That's especially true if the cyberbullying contains threats. Remember to always keep your personal information private. Check your privacy settings to make sure that only your friends can see what you post. And never, ever share your passwords with anyone else. The internet could be a wonderful place to explore. Just remember to stay safe while doing it.
Oh, what was it? My dog's birthday. Shoot, okay, that didn't work. Oh, I know. Last 4 digits of my cell number. Okay, that wasn't it. That might take a while. Until next time, don't forget to visit me at amaze.org or go to my YouTube channel to watch more. Bye!
Live in a digital environment where information is easily accessed and opportunities are limitless. An age to think big, to innovate and lead. But beware, the digital space has its challenges. Manage your digital self carefully, because the consequences are real.
At least 10 incoming freshmen had their recent acceptance withdrawn after posting extremely offensive images and statements on a private Facebook.
Stop and think before you broadcast and post messages. Before downloading third-party apps. Because your digital footprint follows you wherever you go. The Broadcasting Commission, your partner for a new day.
Nah, click on your link for my liquor brother pre that slot bro, we no need that. And the next thing them type a song they are listening online, what kind of thing that some big man pose up on them profile and a put chat to a small child. Watch yourself on social media when you a post boxes, no do nothing too wild. What if your liquor brother said a post ya? What if your bro dead in another crime video ya? What if your little sister fi take a one pic and it a put up everywhere like it's a poster? Before me share the post the pic, I ask myself what if I nah comment, I nah go click B. Before me ask what if I nah comment, I nah go click B. Before me ask what if so before you share the post the link, just ask yourself what if yeah. When you're there online, make it a new day at the rhyme. Keep up with the time. Broadcasting Commission I remind you.
Watch yourself online, that's what my crew say. Make it a new day. I'm reminded by the Broadcasting Commission. We the BCJ. What if it was your friend in the mix? What if it was your sis in the pics? What if you were the terrorist watch list? What if suppose that go on? What you do? Don't like, don't comment, don't click. Report it, block it, don't make it stick. Don't trust everybody on the internet. Use it to step up your intellect. So online you have to be safe too. Don't believe the rumors or the fake news. Don't go everywhere they try to take you. Protect the kids or they find a way to. What if it was your friend in the mix? What if it was your sis in the pit? What if you were a terrorist watch list? What if? Suppose that go on. What if? Wait up,
In the Flow Ambassador training program, I learned that you're not supposed to share personal information such as your name, your phone number, your date of birth, your address, and your license plate number. If you're being bullied on the internet, you should tell a person that you trust. As a Flow Safer internet monitor, the tips that I shared with my friends were that many people on the internet ask for your name so you can receive prizes. They may ask where do you live, let us meet up, and that's not safe to do. I think it's important to be a safer internet monitor because you're able to help people you know to be safe on the internet so nothing bad happens to them.
So in the Flow Ambassador training program, I learned that you should always stay safe on the internet and do not give out your personal passwords, location, or any of those stuff. So some of the tips that I shared with my family and friends are you should not meet up with someone in person, even if they seem nice on the internet. Try not to meet up with them. And I would like for you to be kind on the internet and make it a better place.
Welcome back to the Flow Safer Internet Day Virtual Teen Summit. It has been an exciting session so far, but we have time for 2 more questions. So we'd like to open the opportunity for our online users, not only users, but our online attendees to ask questions.
We have a question here from Joel Forbes. Joel? Joel had a question about viruses on websites.
Hello?
Hi, Joel.
Yes. So my question was, is there a way to prevent virus from appearing on websites when using Chrome for school purposes?
All right.
Because sometimes, although you're using it for education purposes, viruses or ads might still appear while you're trying to focus on your work or studies.
So that's a very good question. So I'm actually a software engineering student at the University of the West Indies. And so we do a whole course on, staying safe online and what are some of those cybersecurity protocols. And I definitely firstly have to recommend that you need an antivirus or anti-spam software on your computer. And that will help to block some of those preliminary viruses that may come on. Otherwise, you do have to be careful what websites you're visiting in the first place. Like, don't just click a random link, especially when you get emails sometimes, and persons may be sending you all kind of things. They'll tell you that they are your long-lost cousin from Africa, and all kind of places all over the world, right? So don't click those random emails if it's not from somebody that you know, or they have a very official title and name and all that information is present. Don't even bother click the link. Don't even put yourself at risk. Any more questions?
Yes, we have another one here from Unique Talege Mendez. And the question is, how do you build your personal brand on the internet?
All right, so I can tackle that question. How do you build your personal brand on the internet? Well, you have to determine what exactly is your brand. So what exactly do you want to represent? You would have heard our previous influencers who have determined their social media identity. So it's for you to determine what exactly you want to represent and then do things accordingly. So for example, if you are someone who wants to create creative YouTube videos and creative content, and that's what you want people to know you for, then go and develop content accordingly. If you are someone who, for example, likes to share positive messages and use creativity, then use those platforms concurrently. So it determines what exactly is your talent, what exactly you want to do, what you want your brand to be, and then you move accordingly.
Adding on to what David has said, I really want to reiterate the importance of authenticity. You see, you don't need to go online and pretend to be anybody else but who you actually are. So it's okay if maybe you're interested in baking and you like chocolate chip cookies and you're going to explore every different type of recipe for chocolate chip cookies. If that is your brand and that's the audience that you want to reach, there are people out there. It may not be around you. It may not be the people you find at first, but you eventually will find them. So my message for building your online brand is definitely authenticity.
Yes, I'd like to agree with you. And focus on your talents. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. Focus on your talents, what you love to do, and what you're passionate about. Do we have time for any more questions? All right, no more questions. So I thought today was a very interactive session. What did you learn today?
I learned so much, and I think listening to the stories from the panelists in the Influencer Roundtable was really so impactful because you're hearing from real people that you see every day. And what's interesting as well is that some of the points that they were making are concurrent and similar to what the ministers were saying, to what the Flow country manager was saying. It all comes back to that we all have a role and responsibility to be positive and to make a positive impact, whether it is in the online world or in the real world. So that's my takeaway for today.
Well, I think my takeaway from today is that know the importance of social media and the internet, but also know when to unplug. Also, I'd like to emphasize that social media does not define you. You define you, and know when to take breaks accordingly. So I'd like to thank everyone for being here, for being present, for tuning in online and asking your questions. I'd also like to commend Flow for taking such an important first step in encouraging the users and rather online users of the internet. Special commendations must also be given to our sign language interpreters, Mr. Denq Wedderburn and Miss Dania Pinnock. And lastly, I'd like to encourage all the young people here to follow, tweet, subscribe to @FlowJamaica on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow Flow, they are doing exceptionally good work, and that's all from me. So what do we have to expect now, Daniel?
Now, you see, back in high school, they used to call me head girl Raver Zine. I used to get my little flare and my fling on. So really and truly, I'm so excited for the next session. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me introduce Ding Dong and the Ravers.
Good. Good thing them. Flow. The good thing them. Good. Good. The good thing them. Good. Good. The good thing. When you do road, you have to wear the good thing them. Good. The good clothes and the good shoes them. Yeah. Good chain and the good ring. I want to shop in at the mall and the good store. See the car when me drive and the good car there. The chicken that does the good girl there. Pretty face with the good shape. And winner. So, country pepper girl, not tell me say me well that. Pull up there. Pull up the deal. Listen to me now. I don't camera I talk to the people them. I which one them? This That one there. And me I talk to them people there. Boring people me na dey panic to do you know. When you get up out of the chair one there, I want to do something swing on the hand, you will hold the head and you will cry and you will ball and you will do me this. Please and thanks. We are perform virtual right now because you know what they say the thing there. Yeah. And we are promote safe internet. Zane internet users. Zane, today's world demand us to be internet savvy. So we have to do what we have to do to live right now. And Pete, let me tell you something. Be careful I want to post on the internet because the things I want to post on the internet I invite some vultures. Zane at the camera, right? Yeah. It invite some vultures. So be careful when I post I know I want to look good as in a young age and rate it, but enough time that they feel to know when I post. Nobody post nothing too revealing or nothing at all. Zane, parents, run through the pitney phone more time if you can't run through the pitney phone. I make them hide the password pound and nothing at all. Zane, and if you see nothing where degrading about other pitney, you don't bother post it, because no one want to post that about you, right? Enough for that now, I enjoy myself now. I better get up out of the seat and do what I do. Penis or no, Del? Yeah. Ding dong, Maria was there. Woo! Inside with the door. Jenna Bravo.
Alright.
Me see you. DJ
Let's do this.
Christoph. Ravers. Liz. Everybody, where me there?
Inside.
Inside. Where you there? Inside. Inside. Everybody know. We just a chill inside. A Netflix inside. Megabox inside. Yes. We there like food I cook inside. Curry chicken on the stove, butter bean to the side. Yes. When hi. Pull up on the shell and bell. Jeez. When everybody feel, when everybody feel, move round here. When everybody feel, this are the dance. Hey, floor, big up yourself, floor. This are the dance everybody want catch. You man at the bunks everybody want. If you stand up in a corner, you want to get left. Hey, we go dance, everybody want catch. Every dance floor we go on a wheel like it. Finger snapping, we enemies, so if you watch it. Rhythm me a kick a California and a kick her in as I said. Me nah laugh, watch big belly let the girl step on me to it like a elephant machine. We say you do with the girl and say you want the magic kids and so let the nigga dance everybody your face. No one nobody bother me become snapping. You never better come out of my way become snapping. Fire upon a boy where you do when you kidnapping. Now you something you pull up chicken you say. Alright. Oh Lord. Hey. Whiz, come here Whiz. Don't mix it there. Go to Whiz. People are Whiz here for this. Hey. Whiz. I Whiz to your boss. Hey Whiz to your boss. I Whiz to your boss. Oh, floor. This are the dance everybody want catch. You man at the bunks everybody want. If you stand up in a corner you want to get left. Wizard. Dash it out now, Del. Everybody put a cup in the air. Oh, anything we know watching. Want to see it? What's it up? Hey. I'm Mr. Valenciano. Put up there, like. No, sir. We don't know about other kids, but we are enjoy ourselves. Big up all the schoolers, them on the online and watching this right now. Big up all your entertainment there right now, so enjoy it here. Turn it up now, Del. Jordan. Hey. Turn it up. All of the guests them. When everybody put up. Oh. Anything we know watching, let me see. Bossing up, and we not care ya. Be a good thing for we have to. I'm Mr. Valenciaga, we have for me foot there. With a brand new one me a ring. Cuban link me away around me. You see and them tough like me near Mr. What a style ya. The Colonia bad Rottweiler. When you still will lay flat like Tyler. The thing I shot you with straight to the sniper. Tell a bubble up in the place like soda. Oh, dash again.
What's a style ya?
We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar way. Touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar way. We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar way. Touch a boy, jewelry. Hey, jump forward, you can do not kick like Jackie Chan.
On you ready?
DJ Del.
On you ready?
Hey, Scrappy, me see you. Jade, Ramesh. We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar way. Touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar way. We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar way. Touch a boy, jewelry. Hey, jump forward, you can do not kick like Jackie Chan. Rolex with a in a me hand. Where you get it from up a Barbican Road? 10 cars giving it a Italy, no brother, we no shop at Thailand. Out there every gal, to Islam, 100 can't smoke up, you was so the thing. Three of us, you want be a touch a boy in a day. We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar. Touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar. We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar. We a touch a boy, be a touch on the cigar. Everybody. People, big up Nisha and where should I? I want that Nisha dance. Hey, listen to me when you bother me. The new bad away. Find them like a flag and them a pest away. Come and do the dance when you see your enemy. So then you back and make us make up your face more. You run them with a give a dash and then listen to me now. Hey, listen to me now. Kids who are watching, so make me cuss you now. We're not going to stress out more than anybody else. Mommy, I cook food, no? Mommy, I provide food, no? I don't look like I and stress. I know I miss school and everything. I said, go. Corona better than we. So we have to just work with this swag on right now, people, and enjoy life. Remember, use the internet safely. Please and thanks. I beg you now. Zane, no make nobody use a fake page and talk about meet me there and meet me there. Don't do it. Play again now, Del. Disha, anyway there. This a bubbles. Boy. This a bubbles. Hey, this a bubbles. Hey. Listen no more when you follow me. The new way to run them when them bad away. Find them like a flag and them a pest away. Come they could do the dance when you see your enemy. When you back as a cassette, make up your face more. You run them when I give a hell at all because them dead to it. Them tell me out them and a friend to it. When you watch that, you know, remember for me legacy.
Them friend.
Hey.
People like that.
Full of style and other time out there. Each of them, we are use on them. We never say short, we never beg them. Them are wicked, we don't know who sent them. Anything when them a do, we let them. And we not follow people, we don't know. Everybody know. Come here, no catch a one. Make your shoulder move like a jackhammer. Hey, this up for them, I said this a debanga. When I want to drop them out, I get cut back. So you feel no. Man, other than this, man, other than that. Dash it out there. Jesus Christ, my Mr. Stage, you see, man. Dash it out there. We are gonna get some gas. Big up flow.
Get some gas.
Gas them up flow. And the gas boss. Round this to gas. Round this to gas. Everybody feel gas. Yes, everybody know. Yes. We gotta get some. Watch this now. We gotta get some. Watch round this up. We gotta get some. Wanna run up and down in this? Run now. Go on with the road. Go on with it. No, sir.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Bravo, see the place lift up there now.
Yes.
Play it again then. We gotta get some gas. Flow, big up yourself.
We gotta get some gas. We gonna get some.
And the gas boss. Chicken and beer in the way there I wear, bro. Everybody get mad. Everybody get mad now. Yes. We gotta get some. 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 Hey, flow. Run. Go on with the road. 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 Go on with the road.
Go on with the road.
Go on with the road.
Go on with the road.
Bro, I'm gonna sing them know the next dance here. See them know the one I know. Jenabong. Flow team, Jenabong. Flow at your bomb. What? He not a day.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we look buzzing right now. Big up all the media personnel over there. All celebrity. All students. Flow with your bomb. He not a bad mind boy. That's true with the dancing world. We don't want no respect from another. A party a shot dog, what you did there? Over the tickers when you there. She not shut up. Hey bro, hey, if you want to look stuff, you better. If you want to leave with her, you better. If you want stuff, you better.
No be a water, I keep saying.
I mean say if you want to buy your own the bar. Look at me, bravo. DJ, one can part that song for me now. Bravo, what kind of glasses here?
I'm in a tour now.
Tour now.
For substage and dance floor now.
Floor now.
Fly pan plane, me jet lag now. And have one bag of money in a bag now.
No.
Tell the girl me want me to get it. I make a bag of money so the thing set it up. Girl, stop, read between the lines.
Play. Man, you show love here, play. Girl, you show love here, play. Yo, throw them up forward. Ding dong, ding dong, and throw. Play.
Play.
Jesus. Yo, told me time for go out there, see Bravo.
Yeah.
Me time for go out there in our world and we'll walk in stage. Play it again then.
Harry, if your shoulder not fling, get on.
Fling. Man shoulder for your fling. Throw shoulder for your fling. Yo, throw team up forward. Ding dong, the new dancing fling. Fling. Man your shoulder for your fling. Get a shoulder for your fling. What you words you a speak and attack with your bad mind thing. Flame. Man shoulder for your flame. In a me chain bling bling. Bad mind is a sin. Unity we are. Dancers, select go with one another. If you fight that, me picking out the feather. Don't bad mind flow them and them a go up the ladder. Money man a bring up each other. If you not like that, hold them there, hold them there, hold them there. Hold them there, flow if you hold them there. Hold them there, 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 hold them there. Play.
Show all of you. You catch it, you catch it, you catch it. Silent, all grenades are.
Everybody. When everybody know, clear.
Flare is in the hair. You catch it, you catch it, you catch it. Floor. All grenades are.
When everybody feel do the one you know, everybody feel do it now. Clear.
Let's go.
Swing and knock your body left to right.
What?
Anywhere we got the one place I ignite.
We flaring. Alright, tell them.
Girl inna we, whoa. We that doesn't magnum on me bed. I be clean like you see from here to up to you. You know you did do that, everybody says swag.
I want to walk. Make we walk. Whoa, gotta submit to me flare.
Whoa,
gotta submit to me flare.
Whoa,
gotta submit to me flare.
Whoa,
gotta submit to me flare. Flare.
That's right.
Yeah.
People, them say the 10 minutes me have. Me enjoy myself. See. But listen to me now, kids. It's real out there. Zane, people have a text set on Instagram. And I have to know for control yourself too. Can I everything on have to reply to you? When people are text and I do certain things, ignore people. One of the biggest insult. Them flex feet, them burn up. You can't do that too. You have to control yourself. You understand? Two wrong, now make a right. Zane, Del, you have some wicked friend out there now. We're leading down the wrong path. Zane, I'm the person who talk to you straight. I'm not sugarcoat nothing. I'm not go standard English. I'm go Jamaican patois so I can understand. You have some wicked friend out there. We are going leading down the wrong path and feel like we have to do things for likes and all this and all that. And so you're going to get no flags when I put up a naked picture. You're going to get no flags when I put up a picture in a bath suit. You're going to all of them things there. Follow we go down so we are going to one pool part. No follow nobody go nowhere. Go to school. Go take in education. And go to library. Go sit down and read every book in the library. You understand what I say? Find one encyclopedia when the book them get too easy. And find one Bible. And read till God come. Because listen to me now. The world wicked out there and dread. I don't know if your mother tell you no, or if your father tell you no, and pretty up you know. But the world wicked out there. You have some wicked, dirty, sorry feet, some wicked, kind of a pretty way to call them, some wicked, dirty pervert out there. We just want to see little pit them for lurks upon them and go on a bag of thing. Now, if you don't present to yourself in another way there, they won't be attracted to you. You understand what I mean? So just bear that in mind. Please and thanks. And watch your friends them where you keep, watch your company where you're in, watch your surroundings. Please and thanks. With that being said, just play watch them please now. Let me get for go away. Watch them ravers, watch them. Watch them schoolers, watch them. Watch them flow. Hey, I know everybody run a reel. Watch your coffee there.
Yeah.
Them a clap when you're dead. Them a coffee friend.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, not say you never. Yo, flow. Them the rate way. Hey, but we don't want none of them clown the rate way. All right, that shit. Go back to school. Enjoy yourself. Flow. Big up on yourself.